All right, let's see. Hold on.
I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, vintage frames on my face. Looking like I'm from the deep, these no Cartiers. Pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a beat, bro. Whoa, whoa. I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip was not a new, now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Neighborhood on the scene, neighborhood on the strip. Neighborhood be the name, neighborhood no crib. Neighborhood that's me, neighborhood that's Nick. Neighborhood do the dance, neighborhood do the deal. Okay, thought I'd never make it like no way. I'm the real deal, no role play. My days off, that's no days. No, I hustle hard, young rose. E be the shooter, that's cold case. Those on the deals, that's brose. Got no pay, yo, no say. Okay, this the news, tell them read it. Been the one since a fetus. Don't sleep on me, Tempur-Pedic. That's a no, no, no. Spending dope for no reason. Got a ball head, Mr. Cleaner. Heard the big bags overseas, then we gon' go, go, go. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa, that money.
What is going on? What is going on? We are back again with another live stream, and we got a special guest today. My man, Mo Freeman. It's been a long time, man. It's been about a year since you've been on this show, but I got a lot of respect for you. You know what I'm saying? Your mindset when it comes down to the NFL draft, the entire NFL. How are you doing, sir? Let me give you the hand clap real quick. Oh, let me get the hand clap. Hold on, my bad. My bad, y'all. Sound check. What's up, dog? Okay, hold on. Let me get you off. Hold on.
Crazy world we live in, man. And, I'm just happy that you're having me on again. It has been a minute, man. It has been a minute.
I know,
Hopefully, your fellow Cowboys entourage to go easy on me a little bit today. You know what I'm saying? I'm the outsider. Okay, I come in peace. Okay, all right, y'all. So just stay with me, man. All right.
Yeah, big time. It's so good though, man, because you're getting into the NFL draft. There's so much that's going on this year, bro. Like it's exciting times. I know with my Cowboys, we've been going through so much, and my guy here, he's a Jags fan. I don't know if a lot of Cowboys fans. Last time you've been on here, it's been a little while, so we did get a new, certain amount of fan bases on the live stream. But the thing is, man, we know football. This NFL draft is going to be so important, bro, but we definitely want to get down into it. But how you been, though, man? How's everything been going?
Been doing all right, man. Just adjusting to some things and getting ready for this draft coming up, man. My Jags have been making a lot of fellow adjustments, man. We made a lot of moves in the offseason that we'll get into a little bit. Been keeping an eye on your Cowboys, man. But I'm just getting anxious and getting impatient. I'm tired of waiting, man. Let's get this thing started, man. Because, look, man. Other than basketball right now, I mean, come on, man. Let's go. Come on,
I know, man. That's what I say, man. See, with me, man, I don't watch too much basketball, bro. But with me, when it comes down to football, college football, the NFL, I'm so big on it. I don't know. Maybe soon I might be doing some high school all 22. You know what I'm saying? I might, you know how that goes. You know what I'm saying? But it's just so good. So many players. So we did sign Royce Freeman, right? The running back.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the league for a while, but the thing is with him, he's one of the guys. Let me see. I think I got a picture up of him. He's one of the players that's been in the league for a long time. But I think with this type of signing that with this player, it's going to be like a Ronald Jones from last year. And he's one of the guys, I mean, goal line work, in between the tackles. You're not going to get too much from this guy, but he's going to have to go out there and prove it when it comes down to training camp, to mini camp, because we got to think about big picture. You still got to go out there and go get running backs. But with Royce Freeman, man, what you think about Royce Freeman? I know he's been around the block throughout his whole career, bro.
He's been around the block. He's a guy bounced around. Obviously, you filled in for your boy Kieran Williams. Because I know you were a big guy on him in fantasy, Jay. You know what I'm saying? Kieran Williams. Good pick. I mean, obviously, he came in and I would say emergency duty and did his thing for what he needed to do. I don't think he's a guy that he's obviously not a burner. He's a short yardage guy. He's a goal line guy. He's not going to burn you, but he's a guy that I think is a good, solid backup, a guy that you're not going to rely on as a starter. He's not a guy that can come in and somebody like, okay, you give him the rock 20 times a game, he's going to be your horse. Nah, he's not that kind of a dude. He's going to be a complimentary guy. I think he's a good second, third running back. He's not a starter. He's a depth piece, I think. So even though he's a solid addition, I think he's more of a depth piece for y'all, to be honest with you. So that's what I think about him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And you know, you still got to focus in on the draft, though. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're bringing in a player like that, I thought he was going to find Ezekiel Elliott. I thought he was going to be that guy, but with Royce Freeman, I'm not going to say that this guy's going to mop out because we don't know what this guy's going to do, but he has not put in a lot of work. But we do know that when it comes down to the goal line work and things like that, you can be able to utilize this guy. But the running back position, man, is so much talent out there. We've talked about guys like Jonathan Brooks. We've talked about Trey Benson, a lot of those talented players that you're going to have to look out for in fantasy too, man. Just wanted to throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? But it was another running back. I can't remember. It was another running back that played for the Rams, number 20. I don't know his name, but Kyron Williams was that number one guy. But if you do have that starting running back, you can be able to spell that guy with a guy like Royce Freeman if he can be able to get going, bro. So it's going to be huge when it comes down to it.
Oh, definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. And, you know, if you want to reveal some of the guys on your board early on in April, Jay, go ahead, man. You want to start revealing your fantasy board? Go ahead, man. I got you, man. I ain't going – come on, Jay.
Listen, man. I got to keep that between myself, bro. You already know. It's definitely a lot of talent as far as the wide receiver position, as far as the running back position. So it's going to definitely be time. But as far as the wide receivers – is there anybody that you are looking for your Jaguars? Okay. Well, okay. Before we get to the wide receiver position, let me know. Just give me a quick state of the Jaguars and let me know how you feel about everything that you guys have been doing on that side of town.
You know, we choked, man. I'm really pissed off, man. We choked. I think anybody in you know, with that's a diehard Jag fan like me, we choked. We were 8-3. We were feeling ourselves a little bit. We got a little comfy. And sometimes in life, when you get a little comfy, you know, you don't think things can happen to you, and then it just bites you. And then we choked. We choked down the line, 8-3, and missed the daggone playoffs, man. That's terrible. So we had to make some moves. We got to get more beef in the middle of the interior line. We signed Mitch Morse, veteran center from Buffalo, solid player. We re-signed Ezra Cleveland. You know, but we needed to do something. We still got Cam Robinson there. Walker Little, who you know, left tackle, filled in for Cam pretty well when he was in there. Him and Cam are in contract years this year. We got the young guy, Anton Harrison. You know, so we signed Eric Armstead from San Fran. That was a big time move because he is a beast. He's an older guy. I think he's 31. You know, you saw what he did in the Super Bowl last year and terrorized the Chiefs. This is a guy that has been an all-pro for most of his career. He's 31. Kind of reminds me of a couple years ago when we were Saxonville, when we was tearing up the league, when we had Calais Campbell, Malik Jackson, Yannick Ngakoue, and Fowler and all them boys. We signed a guy by the name of Calais Campbell, who was also 31 years old when we signed him.
I think
this kind of reminds me of this signing right here with Eric Armstead a couple years later. I think he can have the same type of impact and help Trayvon Walker develop and make Josh Allen's life a little bit easier now that he's in Duval for long term. So I do like that move. I like that we re-signed Forey Luakan. He's the heart and soul of our defense. I like that we reworked his deal. We still got a lot of work to do at corner and receiver and some other areas, but I do like our offseason so far.
Hey, man, that's good, man. So as far as guys like Eric Armstead, so I know he did have 5 sacks last year. He did have 5 sacks last year. Very, very tough player. We know coming from the 49ers, we already know what it is. But I know that price, that contract was high, bro. You know what I'm saying? But he did end up missing some games last year. I think it was like, how many games did he miss last year? I think it was like 5 games, I believe. I think it was
like 4 or 5 or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it was 4 or 5, but I'm not exactly sure. But you know, something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a talented player, man. That's why I definitely wanted to ask you. And as far as guys like Gabe Davis, he's one of the players that he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Like, one thing about him, I don't think he's ever had 1,000 yards, but last year he did have 746 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he's one of the guys I think that can be good for your quarterback, bro. It's the same thing with Josh Allen.
Gabe Davis, to me, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. He all right. Gabe Davis is a solid player. Yeah. You saw what he did against the Chiefs a couple years ago in the playoffs. I know that because you never stop letting me hear about it in fantasy, Jay. You know what I'm saying? So, he had 220 something yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns. He went crazy. That's not my issue with Gabe Davis. My issue with Gabe Davis is, where's the consistency? You do that, then you disappear for 3 or 4 weeks. We don't hear from you. It gets a little ghost-like after that. You have a good game, then you disappear from it. What's going on, man? So he is a good player. He's a solid, big body, 6'2", around 200 pounds. He's a good possession guy. He's good after the catch. He got strong hands. But my only issue with Gabe Davis, my main issue with him is consistency. If he can just be consistent and show what he's capable of doing every week, then I love Gabe Davis. But right now, he's not a number one. He's like a tweener between a 2 and a 3 to me. He has upside and he is young. And because we did lose Calvin Ridley, that killed me. But you know what? The show must go on. It's a nice insurance policy for losing Calvin Ridley to the rival Titan. Now we got to deal with him twice a year. Great. But I mean, it's a nice complimentary price.
Yeah, that's why I say, man, that wide receiver position is so important. And it's the same thing with Dak Prescott. You want to be able to bring in talented players. CeeDee Lamb, I mean, he's holding out at this point right now, but his type of skill set, what this guy can be able to do on and off the field, he's a big time difference maker. But the thing is, when you're thinking about our guy CeeDee Lamb, that's my dog, man. I don't know how you feel about CeeDee Lamb, but that I believe that he's a top 2 talented wide receiver in this league now. And I think it's the sky's the limit for him. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, the scheme, the quarterback, everything has to be clicking. I think that if you can be able to continue to keep utilizing this guy in the slot, let me pick my man up, in the slot on the outside as well, this guy can be able to wreck games. But the question remains, though, guys like Brandon Cooks, you know what I mean? We have to have a guy that can be able to complement him. That's why a lot of these guys, a lot of the fans, a lot of the content creators, they've been talking about the draft, trying to get into these wide receivers and all that good stuff, because, man, wide receiver, that position is imperative, bro. We know that this is a passing league now, and at this point now, Dak Prescott, all the coaching staff, Mike McCarthy, Mike Zimmer, all these guys on 1-year deals. The time is now for us right now, bro. And I just think that if they can be able to add a few more added pieces to that offense, if the offensive tackle isn't there when you get down to the draft in the first round, or if any other skill position player isn't there, wide receiver might be one of the things that we might end up doing, bro. You know what I'm saying? In the first round. So,
okay, let me ask you a question. I hear what you're saying. CeeDee Lamb, there's no debate. The dude is a dog, a straight up dog. I mean, I'm not here to debate that. You better hurry up and pay him before he pulls a Brandon Ayuk on y'all. You know what I'm saying? You better hurry up and pay him, because he's sitting back there looking, okay, who getting paid? You know that, Jay. He's sitting back there watching these receivers getting paid now. Like, what's up with me?
One thing though, like, when you think about the Dallas Cowboys and you see the things that Brandon Ayuk is doing, T. Higgins, a lot of those guys, bro, they're leading their team off of social media. You don't really see that much when it comes down to the Dallas Cowboys, bro. Whenever you're a Dallas Cowboy, you love to play for that team, so you don't really hear that too much. You know what I'm saying? But I think that eventually they'll get things going as far as his contract, because, I mean, the guy deserves it, bro, for sure.
Now, let me ask you this question. CeeDee Lamb is a dog. To me, he's definitely a top 5, 6 guy. You know, he had a monster year last year. I just want to see him do it again. But in my opinion, he's definitely in that top 5, 6 rank. He's definitely an elite guy. There's no question. So let's say you're the GM of the Cowboys, Jay. For one day, one day you're the GM of the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb's like, yo, time to pay up. how much are you paying CeeDee Lamb a year? If you are the GM, how much you paying him a year?
I mean, he's going to have to go for somewhere around 30. It's the same thing with Micah Parsons. It's the same thing with Micah Parsons, bro. I mean, every number changes with every new signee that happens. That's a top tier player. You know what I'm saying? So 30 is going to be the going rate when it comes down to him at that position. If you're picking up top 2, top 3 numbers every year, if you're being a productive player in the slot as well as the outside, I mean, what else you can't argue that. Just like they always say, right? Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, they love their guys. Well, they got it right with guys like CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. They love those guys. So you got to sign these guys, keep these guys happy, and build around them. It's going to be very important. You know what I'm saying? But $30 million, I think, is going to be the going rate as far as that wide receiver once that time comes, bro.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you, bro. He definitely deserves it. He's young. He's proven himself. He's gotten better every year with everything that y'all been through, and I definitely agree with you on that. I can't argue with you on that, Jack. I can't argue with you on that. You know, I give him 30 a year. I give him 30 a year. I think that's you're right. I'm with you on that, bro.
Yeah, because I mean that's just what it's going to be. Like regardless, it's either he's going to get it for the Dallas Cowboys or he's going to get it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? That's where we are right now. So real quick before we get into so let's get into these talented wide receivers coming out of college, right? So we definitely want to talk about guys like a Donnie Mitchell. So let me get so Donnie Mitchell, right? Because he's one of my favorite wide receivers that they're going to be talking about this position. When you see this player, I mean, he's a slippery athlete. He's a 4-star recruit, and last year he had 55 receptions, 845 yards, 11 touchdowns with 1 drop in 2023. He led the Big 12 in touchdowns. He ran a 4.34 40-yard dash at the combine, and he's one of the guys that has great hand-eye coordination, and it's going to be very important. Like if that tackle isn't there that the Dallas Cowboys want, if a defensive tackle isn't there or possibly a guard, then you might have to be looking at guys like a Donnie Mitchell. But he's one of the players that I think when he first got there, when he first got to college, he was at Georgia. I don't know if everybody knows that, but he was at Georgia. Then he transferred. Then next thing you know, he's playing with Texas, and he had a solid year. But I think that with this type of player, he does need to get bigger, bro. He's not the biggest guy, and there's going to be questions about going up against defense, going up against cornerbacks, against the jam and things like that. But we'll see how it all plays out with him. But I think that he's one of those guys that's a big-time player.
Let me ask you a question. If you had to give him an NFL comp, who would it be?
Man, I don't
really, you know what I'm saying? I got to bring a little quick, give me a comp, man. Give me a comp real quick.
I mean, shoot, man, because the thing is, man, I mean, he does have that wiggly type of movement skills like a CeeDee Lamb, but I don't really try to do comparisons like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I respect these athletes. Everybody looks different in my eyes when I'm looking at all 22. But you can see, I mean, this guy can be able to take the top off the defense, good hand-eye coordination, and he can close onto the ball. Great vision, you know what I'm saying? So he focuses and locks in on what these defenders are trying to do and just keep these guys guessing. You know what I'm saying? He's out here playing chess rather than checkers. You know what I'm saying? So you can see it inside his game, bro.
I mean, I don't, from what I've watched on him, obviously tall, lanky guy. He doesn't seem like a terrible blocker either. I've seen. On top of that, his yak yardage. Yeah, I definitely see what you mean with that. Being, what is he, 6'3"? What is he, 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'2". I think about 6'2".
6'2", 6'3", something like that, running a 4.3? That's ridiculous. And to be able to go up there, get the ball like that, hand-eye coordination, and then on top of that, the yak, the wiggle at that size with that speed, that's like, I don't want to say, I'm not going to say like T. Higgins with wiggle and speed, but like, you know what I mean? T. Higgins is a guy that can go up and get the ball, high point the ball, go, he's a red zone guy, but T. Higgins obviously does not have that kind of speed. His frame obviously got to get stronger. Like you said, he's got to, get stronger, obviously, to be able to deal with the press coverages and with the big boys and all that. But if he, gets stronger as he gets older, and he's a young prospect as well, I think he's 21, 20. I think he's 21. So he's not one of these older 23, 24-year-old guys that have been around. So he's young. Anyone that gets him, I think, have to be a little bit patient with the kid. But give him 2 years, I think he's going to be a stud. depending on what situation he goes to. Man, then you talk about Texas. When's the last time Texas had a?
It's talent all throughout Texas, bro. They are.
I'm talking about that quarterback.
Oh yeah, with the quarterback position, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at quarterback, he was doing that work with the situation there at quarterback in Texas. So that says a lot about his talent.
Yeah, big time, man. That's what I'm saying. And the thing is, man, like you just want to continue to keep on bringing in big time playmakers, whether if it's the second round, third round. I think that he might end up getting drafted in the first round, but if it's not the first round, it's going to be the beginning of the second round. But I think that when you're thinking about this whole wide receiver throughout the whole draft, this might be the most talented class since the 2015 draft, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's it. That's definitely saying a lot. But you just see all of the wide receivers with the Rome Odunze. Then you got Marvin Harrison Jr. And you got guys like Malachi Corley. You got so many different wide receivers that's coming out that we're going to break down. But as far as you, right? So for your Jaguars, who is one of the wide receivers that you would like for your team to draft come the first round?
If it was me, I would wait. I would take Brian Thomas. Yep. If we stay at 17, I'm taking Brian Thomas. I love this kid. I think, you got to be a little bit patient with him. But the kid is 6'3", 210 pounds with room to grow in his frame. He's big, he's strong, and on top of that, by the way, 4.3 speed at that size, that's absolutely ridiculous. He's got sneaky good speed, strong as hell. And he's a solid route runner. Now, he needs to polish that up, and he's a little bit raw in those areas. You know who he kind of reminds me of? A DK Metcalf when he came out. DK Metcalf, when he was at Ole Miss, I believe, had the same problem. People thought he could only run go routes. People thought he was too raw with his route running, and that was part of the reason why he slipped to the second round a couple years ago. Well, look at DK Metcalf now. That's who this kid kind of reminds me of. Just maybe I don't want to say poor man's version of him, but I think that this kid is similar to him. I see a little bit of DK Metcalf. It's just going to require some patience because of his youth and his inexperience. But as he grows older, as he learns how to run more of a route tree, that kid is going to be scary because of his physicality, his speed, and his strength. That's who I really like at the position. That's one guy that's my favorite. Another guy would be Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors is an absolute stud. That dude is a problem.
It's a big problem. Hey, man, it's so good to see a guy like Brian Thomas, though, because, this guy is another one of the guys that is on the – well, a lot of the fans want us to pick him up if that tackle isn't there. But when you see a player that used to play basketball, I am so big when it comes down to guys that can be able to play multiple sports, football and basketball. Last year, he had 68 receptions, 1,177 yards, 17.3 average per catch. That's big time, bro. You know what I'm saying? 17.3. So keep that in mind. But 17 touchdowns. He did have 5 drops last year. You know what I'm saying? But we have to talk about weaknesses as well. He did have 5 drops, so you got to make sure you catch the ball. He ran a 4.33. So speed, that's why when you're thinking about this draft class versus a lot of these draft class from previous years, the speed is there. You know what I'm saying? So, and he also said that his favorite route is running that slot fade type of route. So that this guy just likes to go out there and just get chunk plays and get busy. But the thing is with him, he's another one of those players that need to work on his blocking, but as far as and get stronger as well, bro. So it's going to be big to see how it all plays out with him. But I think that he's one of the most dynamic wide receivers that's coming out of this draft. And I won't say that he's like a DK Metcalf. I think when you think DK Metcalf, I start thinking about guys like Xavier Leggett, the South Carolina wide receiver that's coming out this year, big boy. He's about 225 pounds. Because if I'm going to compare anybody to DK, you got to start off being like 225. You know what I'm saying with him? You know what I'm saying?
I feel you with that. I was saying DK as far as because I think Thomas is 210, something like that. Yeah, hey, not everybody can be built in a lab like that dude, man. You know what I'm saying? I get that. But I'm saying I think his frame definitely represents, when you look at his frame, it definitely represents a lot of room to grow. You know, I'm not saying to be like Metcalf, but like similarities there, similarities with his route running. Yeah, you brought up a really good point about the drops. Got to clean that up as well. I just see a little bit of a similarity there, but I do also see your point. Because DK Metcalf, I mean, how many 6'3" dudes at 230 you seeing, bro? Like,
yeah, big facts. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these guys are like built like from a science lab. You know what I'm saying? And you know, just having these type of receivers. That's why I say with me, I didn't do a full breakdown as far as the wide receivers, but there is so much talent. And I think that, you know, when you're looking at these players, guys, like not only the first round or the second round, you could possibly go out there and go get a guy in the third round. And we did bring in Malachi Corley. I do have his all 22, I believe. I'm not sure if you know who Malachi Corley is, but he's the Western Kentucky wide receiver. Yeah, bro. And he's one of the guys that reminds me, he does have that Percy Harvin type of energy when you think about it. Debo, 5'11", 207 pounds. He didn't work out at the combine, but he did run his 40 at his pro day. He did run a 4.56, and that's actually good money. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about these wide receivers, some of these guys coming out running 4.5s and 4.6s, but I mean, what else can you do? And he's one of the guys that not the best route runner, but if you can be able to give this guy screens, if you can give him dump offs, if you can be able to, you know, quick jet sweeps, just get this guy the ball. And they actually nicknamed him the Yak King. You know what I'm saying? And you that's the kind of stuff you like. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Facts.
So if they call you the Yak King, it's good to see for NFL scouts to go out there to go do their due diligence on these guys. With Dak Prescott, if you can be able to have a wide receiver that you can just give this guy the ball, go out there and get chunk plays, it'll open up everything when it comes down to the offense, Cowboys Nation.
Hey, bars, my man. Yeah, because he got my attention at the Senior Bowl. That's where I found out about Mr. Malachi Corley. He got my attention at the Senior Bowl. He got my attention from Steve Smith breaking him down as well. And you know the legend Steve Smith that he is. And he got my attention there in the practices because we're similar with that. We watch these practices, we watch these reps, and I was watching this kid went off the line. I was watching his physicality, I was watching his versatility, and then I went back and looked at his tape a little bit. I was like, oh shit, this is like a baby Debo. Like, he's like a baby Debo, like a Swiss Army knife as well. Give him the ball, just let him go. Just let him go. Let him work.
That's the popular comparison though. When you think about Debo Samuels, everybody's saying that he's Debo. So I try to figure out something else for this guy. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that with this type of talent, like what this guy can be able to do and just open up everything for Mike McCarthy and the whole offense. You got to just pay attention to little things like this. So that's why I say, let me pick this list of the top 30 visits. I mean, we see the whole top 30 visits. And you got guys like Malachi Corley at number 64. He's on there. He's the only wide receiver that's on the list. So we got to pay attention to things like that. That's why I wasn't really sure, Cowboys Nation, if this guy, if the team was going to pick up another wide receiver in the first round and the second round. I didn't think they was going to pick a guy up. But if you can be able to pick up a guy like him in the third round, possibly the fourth round, I'm not sure. But if this guy's available, that'll be good. He didn't work out at the combine, so he might, slip when it comes down to the draft.
If he slips when it comes down to the draft, that's only your advantage. That's only your advantage at the end of the day. It's like, oh, please slip. Oh, don't work out. Take your time, man. Go through the crack. Just go ahead and keep slipping down the lane. We'll go get you. Just let him slip. Let him slip.
Hey, man, that's why, bro. I'm team trade back, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, straight up, dog. I'm team trade back. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is with me. Like, because we don't have our fourth round pick this year, bro.
Yeah.
Because we got that we traded for Trey Lance. You know what I'm saying? So we got Trey Lance, and we don't have our fourth round pick. We did not make any moves in free agency. So you got to go out there and draft well. If we don't do this right, bro, this year, if we don't do this right in the draft, we're going to be in some trouble. But the good thing is, when you're thinking about Cowboys Nation, everybody knows that, bro. And that's the stuff that we talk about all the time. All right, shout out to my man, Jay Bryant. He said, is Corley a replacement for Turpin? Turpin this year. You talk about Corley replacement for Turpin. I mean, possibly, but I think that Corley could be a second wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? He has that type of ability. He can be in the slot as well. Like when you do have a guy that's talented like that, I mean, you can utilize him all over the field. And I think that, with what this guy can be able to do, I think that it opens up everything when it comes down to guys like CeeDee Lamb and the entire offense, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I think with Turpin, when you think about Kevontae Turpin, if you can be able to utilize him, continue to keep using him as a gadget guy, I think that, he can get those chunk plays and make a difference when it comes down to Sundays, bro.
All right. Curly, I don't think it really matters that you put this to, man, to be honest with you. Like, I definitely agree with that. Turpin's a big loss, but I mean, if you get Curly, I think it's just kind of like, okay, well, I mean, you upgraded in my opinion because he can actually do more of the receiver position for you. So than Turpin did. So I think you should just consider it an upgrade at that point.
Yeah, big time. So we'll definitely see when it comes down to this wide receiver position. But if you want to go out there and go get a difference maker, if that tackle, because I'm so big, bro, when it comes down to the offensive line, like I know. They have to get it right. Left tackle position or that center position, the guard position. If you feel as though guys like Brock Hoffman, even though I like Brock Hoffman a lot, I have a lot of respect for him. He's one of the guys that played that center position in Virginia Tech. I did make a good video on this guy and broke down a lot of details on this player of what this player can be able to do at the center position. But the NFL is a different beast. So at this point, like they have to trust him. Mike Solari, all the rest of the whole offensive coaching staff, they got to believe in this guy. If he is that guy, then I think that it'll open up everything on that offensive line, and you can be able to possibly go wide receiver. I don't know if that left tackle's there now.
Let me ask you a question. I know you want to, kind of revamp the offensive line. You lost some pieces. It's not the heyday when you had Frederick and all those boys back in the day and Tyron and all that. I know it's not the heyday Cowboys offensive line, but let me ask you a question real quick. Do you feel like y'all should have explored re-signing Larrell Collins?
La'el Collins?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see. The thing is with La'el Collins, like when he lost his position to Terrence Steele a couple years ago, like next, this guy just flared out and went on to another team. Like the offensive line, I mean, things change. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he should have played that guard position, but I don't know if he really wanted to play it. But somebody else signed him. But you have to continue to keep on bringing in these offensive linemen. You know what I'm saying? So something went wrong there, but I think that, there's talent as far as the NFL draft that you can be able to go get those guys at the guard position, the center position. There's so much talent out there, especially the center position, bro.
Yeah, definitely this year.
Shout out to my man Smoke One for you. He said, we fixed the offensive line. We can basically put anyone behind it and let them go. Even Deuce can produce with a good offensive line that makes holes and not get pushed back into the quarterback and running back. Yeah, bro, I feel you. I definitely feel you on that. Like, if you get that offensive line right, you don't have to have the best running back. You can go get guys in the second round, third round. Deuce Vaughn, his type of ability. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Deuce Vaughn, bro, but I think that with his type of ability, what this guy can be able to do, I might have to do an all 22 on him because I feel as though that Dallas Cowboys should utilize him this year. But figure it out. But at the same time, with his skill set, what he can be able to do as far as catching the ball, running in between the tackles. He's not the guy, so you don't want him blocking, but he can be that guy that can be able to get those chunk plays that we've been talking about as far as that running back position, bro.
Yeah, I definitely like Deuce Vaughn. I think Deuce Vaughn's a good player. I think he's definitely more of a scat back to me. He's a scat back kind of a guy. He's not a guy that you give the ball to 15 times a game. He's not that guy. He's not that type of player, but he's definitely a guy that you can use in screen situations. You can, definitely utilize him in open field. You could definitely use him all over the formation. And I think he's a guy that you don't definitely want to snooze at because he's a guy that can kill you if you don't pay attention to him. But he does need a counterpart. He needs that complementary power guy to him, like maybe a Roy Freeman or in a pinch or somebody like that. But Deuce Vaughn is definitely a guy I've paid attention to. Deuce Vaughn, he got my attention last year in the preseason. That's when he got my attention. And when he was killing everybody, I was like, who's this little dude running around like this? I was just like, what's going on here? So he definitely a guy that you don't want to sleep on.
Yeah, the problem is though, bro, like whenever you do have these running backs and what they're doing in preseason, the coaches got to pay attention to that, bro. The better coaches, if you see it in preseason and this guy's doing it in training camp, he was making moves in mini camp, training camp, play that guy. Find ways to be able to utilize him. I know that Tony Pollard was there, and you know, I always like Tony Pollard, but I just feel as though that you can be able to go out there and go find players. You can go get Ray Davis. I don't know if you know that running back from Kentucky. He's one of the running backs from Kentucky, but there's so much talent out there. You got the Aldrich Estime. I know you're not looking at that running back position like that, but it's so many guys like the 4th round, the 5th round, the 6th round. If you can be able to get those trenches right, if Jonathan Brooks isn't there, Trey Benson isn't there, you can possibly go find guys like Braylon Allen, Aldrich Estime. But I think that with these guys, let me go back to my top 30, man. Because I mean, you look at the running back position, you do see Jonathan Brooks there. Then you have Jason McClellan too. That's another sneaky guy that you're gonna have to pay attention to. Rasheen Ali, a lot of these guys are putting in a lot of work, bro. So it's gonna be big as far as that running back position, bro, for sure.
Let me ask you, what's the sweet spot you want to take a running back? What's the sweet spot you want to take a back this year for your Cowboys?
See, with me, the thing is, if I see Jonathan Brooks, if I see Jonathan Brooks in that 2nd round, if I see him in 2nd round, bro, I'm taking him because I feel as though that he is the most complete running back in his draft. And I do know that this guy had that ACL injury, but our team doctors are the guys that is the guy that did the surgery on him, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. That's a green light right there. But with him, he is the most complete running back in his draft, in my opinion, from what I've seen on tape. Trey Benson is another good guy. Aldrich Estime, the running back from Notre Dame, he's another one of those sneaky players, bro, that I feel as though is a sleeper this year. So this is the stuff, like a lot of things that I say right now, bro, because you know me and you are big time rivals when it comes to fantasy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think I might be giving away a lot of my stuff, but I got to talk to Cowboys Nation. You
know continue, Jay. Continue, please. Continue, sir. No, go ahead, man. I'm listening, sir.
Hey, shout out to my man Darren Posey, man. What's good? He said, man, let's go. What's good, dog? What's going on? hey, look at Jim. Shout out to Jim. He said JC had to come and support. Shout out to UMO Freeman, aka Ramsey.
Hey, Bones, man. That's Bones, man. Hey,
appreciate the love, man. Thank you so much for tapping in. I know we came in on a sneaky time or whatever. I should have been posted the video, but I was so busy today. But hopefully, you know, anybody that missed this video, they can be able to catch the replay value because there's a lot of all 22 that we're showing. We got some more things to talk about. So give me your thoughts, bro, when it comes down to Oluokun, right? Because I know you're a Jags fan and you know it's always great to talk this ball. How do you feel about that linebacker signing? Didn't he sign a contract this year?
Yeah, well, what he did was he signed a contract extension. He was in the last year of his deal. So we had to make a decision on him. So we signed him to a contract extension. Basically the same contract he signed a couple years ago. It was like a 3-year, $45 million. So we basically signed him to a similar contract. We did that to, push the money back, obviously, like, Cowboys used to do back in the day, stuff like that to free up more money. So we could sign Josh Allen, so we could sign Mitch Morse, so we could sign Eric Armstead, so we could, we're talking about a Trevor Lawrence extension already, stuff like that. We got some guys coming up in contract years like Tyson Campbell, Andre Sisco, young up and coming players that we got to think about paying now, so we don't get caught in the same trap that we did with Calvin Ridley, waiting too damn long, and then you let Tennessee come up at the last minute and snag them like that. We can't let that happen again. That was ridiculous. So We hopefully learned our lesson. And you know what? Maybe we should resign players early and then get it done before people, bet on themselves and let the market dictate for them. So that's what we did before Lucan to free up some money. It was a smart move. I think it was a good move. He's a hell of a player. He's a tackling machine. I don't understand how he's not been in the Pro Bowl, but he's kind of getting what I like to call the London Fletcher treatment. London Fletcher, when he was just a tackling machine, always making plays, but just never really got the respect that he really deserved. He's kind of like that, but he's a good player, leader of the defense. I really like the extension because it helps the team, and he definitely deserves it as well. The linebackers around him got to step up. Devin Lloyd stepped up this year, had a better year because he had a pretty bad rookie year. He was better last year. We're switching our defensive scheme. Ryan Nielsen coming over from the Falcons as defensive coordinator. Looks like we're switching more from a 3-4 to a 4-3, 4-2-5 kind of hybrid defense. But Foy Lucan's familiar with him because when Foy Lucan was in Atlanta, Ryan Nielsen was there. So, I like the signing. I think it was a good move, but we still got work to do, especially at cornerback. Lord.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely be big when it comes down to that linebacker position. That's why I had to ask you that for real. Because the thing is, with Lucan, I think that he's a good linebacker. I played linebacker all throughout high school. Me and you went to school together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. You was a dog, man. You was a dog, boy.
You was a dog when it come down to basketball. I was a dog when it come down to football, man. And that linebacker position, I love to be able to run all 22 when it comes down to these players. But Eric Kendricks, man, I'm so happy that we got a player like him coming in this year. He's not the player that he used to be in previous years, but to be a guy that has been with Mike Zimmer, you have a good understanding on what this guy wants, where you want to be at. You want to play that Mike position. But it's so crazy, bro, because he did sign with the 49ers, but he twisted it around. Next thing you know, he signs with the Dallas Cowboys. But sometimes, bro, it comes down to scheme. It comes down to the city. And I think that, with the Dallas Cowboys, what he can be able to do with Micah Parsons, it's going to be fireworks, I believe. And they just got to continue to keep on keeping on when it comes down to that linebacker position. If it's the first round, second round, third round, just get guys in there. He's not going to be one of the guys that's going to be there for 2, 3, 4 years. So if you can be able to draft a guy, if you can be able to groom that whoever that guy is, if it's a Peyton Wilson or if it's an Edgerrin Cooper, get that guy in there, learn from guys like Eric Kendricks, and get things rolling. But as far as him just having that ability to be able to read and diagnose plays, roaming sideline to sideline and being aggressive, I like this from this player, and he still got some juice. I have questions about him in the pass game, but as far as being able to just get after the quarterback and stop the run, that's exactly what we need when it comes down to that linebacker position, Mo.
I definitely agree with you on Eric Kendricks. I remember his days when he was with Minnesota, I believe. When he was with Minnesota. I think he was just with the Chargers last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But he was a dog, I think, in Minnesota for the majority of his career. I think the Eric Kendricks signing is a good signing. I would call it a Band-Aid signing because he's not a long-term option, but that's okay. You need him to come in and stabilize the linebacker position. You know what it kind of reminds me of, Jay? It kind of reminds me last year when y'all signed a guy by the name of Stephon Gilmore. Remember that when we talked about that last year? You signed Stephon Gilmore. You knew Stephon Gilmore wasn't going to be a long-term option. He was going to be kind of a Band-Aid, and kind of stabilize cornerback position for a year or so. But he kind of reminds me of that signing. I don't know if you agree with that, but it kind of comes off as similar because he's a veteran guy, proven guy in this league that has done some work in this league. But you need him to come in and help stabilize the position, and I think he's perfect for that. He's definitely more of a 2-down backer than a 3-down backer, like you said. 100% agree with that, but that's okay. He's going to bring that leadership. He's going to bring the juice. He's going to bring the hammer. You know that. And linebacker is a position y'all need to improve at. Let's just be real. You know that. So that's where y'all need to improve at, and I think he's the perfect guy to help come in and try to change things around. For sure. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. And I did do a breakdown on Edgerrin Cooper. I did do a breakdown on Peyton Wilson too. So I do have some of his all 22. I like Peyton Wilson, but the thing is with him, he's one of the players, man, that he could possibly end up being an LVE 2.0. But when you do think about the numbers, I mean, he was a 4-star recruit, the most athletic linebacker coming out the draft class. In 2023, this guy had 138 tackles, 17 and a half tackles for loss, man. That's fireworks. 6 sacks, ridiculous. 1 forced fumble, 9 pass deflections, and 3 interceptions. I mean, the dude jumped off the charts when it comes down to the numbers in his senior year, but he's extremely aggressive. He has a high IQ. He does have the ability to be able to line up on the outside. He can cover running backs and wide receivers, and tight ends as well. You know, not the slot wide receivers because those guys are a little slippery, but just seeing the athleticism from this guy is big time. This is why I say, man, that linebacker position is imperative to be able to go get guys. But if this guy can go out there and continue to keep on when it comes down to his playmaking ability, being able to go out there and close, I think that he can be a top linebacker, but health is going to be very, very important when it comes down to this guy. Not sure if you did any homework when it comes down to Peyton Wilson, but he's had injuries, man, but he's one of those top-notch athletes, bro.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of homework on him. Some of my fellow Jags fans have talked about him a little, throughout the last month or so. I haven't done a crazy amount of work on him, but what is he, 6'4", 240? With I heard he has like 4.4 speed or some ridiculous number like that. That is ridiculous at that size, at that height, at that weight to be playing. It's not just because he's 6'4", 240 and runs a 4.4. It's his play speed as well, which pops off the tape. And then he can also drop back in coverage. You can bring him off the edge and blitz him. He's a tackling machine. He's aggressive, like you said. The injuries are worrisome, absolutely. I think he's a guy that I think he's LVE who can cover. I think he's LVE that can cover.
LVE that can cover, my man. Hey, shout out to Jay Bryant. What's good, dog? He said,
right. But like Peyton Wilson, we gonna see. We gonna,
Hey, shout out to my man Jay Bryant. He said, "Nah, bro, Peyton Wilson is better than LVE was coming out. He's a complete linebacker." And hey, look, and the thing is, I do believe that he is better. But the thing is, the reason why I said LVE 2.0 is because of injuries. That's why I say, because throughout his whole college career, I mean, he was injured. You know what I'm saying? So your best ability is availability. At this point now, when you got all these 1-year contracts with Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy, Mike Zimmer, you want to have a guy that's out there on the field. That's all I'm saying, bro, at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because the talent is there. The talent is definitely there, and you can see that in the All-22. This guy has what it takes. But that's why we're here to talk about it. We're here to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And, break things down. All right, all right, let me go to my man. Okay. I think my man switched it up. He said, okay, I was thinking the same exact thing. Can't you see Corley on the screen? Okay, they talking about the wide receiver. All right, let me see. Shout out to my man Smoke One. He said specifically if we miss out on Wilson and Cooper. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know there. Okay, let's see. JC, don't forget about. Oh yeah, okay. My man said no lie. Wow. Okay, wow. So having us pick Corley, he can translate to running back as well. I don't know if he can do that, bro. I don't know if he can do that, but I think that you can mix it up a little bit. You can mix it up a little bit. I think he is a wide receiver, but just being in that backfield and just getting those yak yardage, just give him the ball. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. And then he said, JC, don't forget about Still Chambers and Wallace. I feel better if we got both. I got you, dog. I got you. I'm definitely gonna work on that for the upcoming show right before the draft. We definitely gonna talk about those guys. But that linebacker position is very important, man. Like I said, and with Peyton Wilson, what this guy did for his team, being a leader. Another one of my guys, I did talk about this guy, man, with Edgerrin Cooper. They're going to have to figure it out. With Peyton Wilson, I think you can pick him up again in the second round. With Edgerrin Cooper, I'm not really sure. He can go towards the end of the first round, possibly the beginning of the second round. But when you see a player that can have 83 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, he was a 2-year starter last year. It's going to be good to see how it all plays out with him. He has elite arm length. I think he was 81-inch arms, bro. You know what I'm saying? In that linebacker position, when you're playing, bro, you got to be able to have that reach. You got to have that reach to be able to reach through those tackles and guards, to be able to get that ball carry and stuff like that. But he's another one of those guys that can be able to read and diagnose. And he led the whole entire college. He's the only player in college that led the team in tackles for a loss, forced fumbles, and sacks on his team. You know what I'm saying? So that just goes to show, that's a testament to show that this guy was going out there and putting in that work. And the better scouts, you got to go out there and go find those guys. Edgerrin Cooper, man, he's a dog, bro. And I enjoyed doing this all 22, and we'll see how it all plays out. You know what I mean? But with us, I think that if we do trade back, I think that he could possibly be one of the guys, you know what I'm saying, Graham Barton, a lot of those guys on the offensive line. But if he's there, they're going to have to really they're going to have to make a decision when it comes down to him, bro, because he's one of my favorite players coming out of this draft.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've seen you talk about him recently. I've seen you talk about it because you know I'm always watching, man. You know that. So I'm just saying the two things I would say that definitely stand out to me about this kid, like as we see, his explosiveness and his football IQ. He's smart as hell, and his explosiveness is ridiculous. That closing speed is something special, man. Mm-hmm. And so he's a guy that you can play on all three downs, not just a two-down guy. You know, we're kind of phasing out that with today's NFL because, we're playing, 70% nickel nowadays. What is it, 65, 70% nickel? Like, if you don't have three-down availability as a linebacker, you're not as valuable as you were 10 years ago. So he has that three-down ability due to his athleticism, due to his IQ. And I think he's a guy, I don't know if you'd call him a Mike or would you call him a Will? Where would you put him?
I mean, see, the thing is with me, I think that you have to put him at that Will linebacker position. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has that ability to be able to cover. I mean, you have to have the right defensive tackle for him, though, because don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You don't have that right defensive tackle, and those offensive linemen are getting to the second level. It's going to be hard for this guy because sometimes he can be too aggressive and get washed out of plays quickly. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful when it comes down to that. So that defensive tackle position is going to be important. Mozzie Smith, the Sweats, the Tavondre Sweats, what's the guy's name from Texas A&M? Malik Washington. A lot of those defensive tackles they're going to have to look at in the third, fourth round, because that's what's going to bring the best out of him, bro. A true one technique, guys that can be able to clog up and help out guys like Eric Kendricks. But if you can be able to have that defensive tackle going out there and do that, then you can have this guy going out there and using his athletic ability, roaming sideline to sideline. Peyton Wilson and Edgerrin Cooper. If you get that thing right, man, it's gonna definitely be good. You know what I'm
saying? Definitely. Yeah. No lies told, my man. No lies told.
Big time. So, hey, as far as that cornerback position, right? So I know it was a couple of guys that you wanted to talk about as far as that cornerback position. Let me know, your thoughts on these guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's some sneaky players. We don't need, in the beginning of the draft, I don't think we're going to go cornerback, but, pass rush and cornerback position, you can never have enough of those guys. But let me know a couple of guys that you like coming out this year, bro.
At corner, I like what's his name, Nate Higgins, the cornerback from Clemson. I really like him. I like the kid Mitchell from Toledo, but I don't think he's going to be available. But Higgins, man, I really like his speed. I like his length. I like his IQ. I do. Now, he's not like my number one corner, I would say. That would probably be Mitchell, but I have to also think about corner, and I have to think about scheme fit. You know that, Jack. We got to think about scheme fit. We're in a new scheme. Ryan Nielsen plays more of a press man kind of a scheme. He's not really a zone guy. That's kind of why we cut Darius Williams. We cut Darius Williams because it freed up $10 million in cap space, and because he wasn't also a scheme fit for our new Ryan Nielsen scheme. That's why we let him go. And he had a pretty good year last year. I was surprised he wasn't a Pro Bowler, to be honest. But we had to let him go because of scheme. Nate Wiggins, I think this is. I really like that kid because of his length, his size, his speed, and his IQ. I think he's a guy that I would personally love. I think he's scheme flexible. I think you can play him at both spots. Mitchell, I think he's more of more of a zone guy, but I think he can also play man, and he showed that at the Senior Bowl and in the practices. That's where he really got his shine. That's where he really elevated his value from. He wasn't an unknown guy, but he was like a second, third round guy. And then all of a sudden, hey, he might be a top 15 pick because of what he did at the Senior Bowl. So those two are the guys that stand out to me. Ronaldo Green from Florida State. I don't understand why this kid is not being talked about enough. That dude, I like to call him sticky. He's just he's sticky. Like, you know, you know what I'm saying? You see him in the coverages, you see his footwork, you see his mirroring skills are very, very good and very, very underrated. I don't know why he's not being talked about as a fringe first round guy, but I think he's a guy like we talked about. We're talking about depth in this draft class at receiver, especially at corner. Receiver and corner is really, really deep this year. And I think he's a guy you might be able to get in the second, third round and get an absolute steal. You know, something like that. I don't know who to really compare him to or something like that, but we both know, because we both know, like, Jay, you can get corners in mid-rounds and they're studs, and I think he's a guy that might be one of them.
Well, see, the thing is with Nate Wiggins, I ain't have time to do his all 22.
It's all good. It's all good, bro. All good.
It's been a lot because we've been running through all these all 22s and stuff. We got a couple more to show and stuff like that. But you know, when you think about guys like Nate Wiggins, but being 6'1", 173 pounds, that's the questions that I got when it comes down to the cornerback position, because you got to be feisty. You got to be feisty. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, man, a lot of these big wide receivers, we talked about a lot of these guys in the NFL. These guys got size. You know what I mean? So if some guys you can't be able to press as far as the cornerback position, but he is a 4-star recruit. He was a 2-year starter. Talking about Nate Wiggins. Let me put his picture back up. Let's see. Boom. Okay. He was a 2-year starter. Top end speed 4.28. The guy ran a 4.28 40. You know what I'm saying? So this is the stuff that I like as far as that cornerback position, even though we might not go that direction, but I do like to see these athletes. But just like the pass rush, the defensive end and that cornerback position, you can never have too many of them. So if you do see a big time talent in the mid rounds, I don't think that this guy will get to the mid round. But when you see a player that is a technician, that he's a hip pocket type of corner, just like the Jordan Lewis, you know, they used to call him Jordan Hip Pocket Lewis, but going out there and being a difference maker and coming from a big time school, this is what the big time NFL scouts need to see when it comes down to that cornerback position. Don't know too much about Ronaldo Green. Don't know too much about Ronaldo Green, but I definitely would trust your judgment. That's why I let you, do that breakdown on him and stuff like that. But, when you think about the Dallas Cowboys and with Trayvon Diggs, I'm so happy that this guy's coming back this year, bro.
Yes.
It's crazy, bro. I was so heartbroken because he's from the DMV where me and you from. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And his family members, when he ended up getting hurt, bro, like this was supposed to be the big time year for him, just to build up off of everything that this guy was doing, and seeing him with guys like Stephon Gilmore and the rise of Deron Bland, bro. You've been saying Deron Bland's been good for a while, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him, yo. Shout out to him, bro.
Hey, Deron Bland is definitely a rising star. I saw this. Me personally, I know you knowing about him. I know Cowboys Nation knowing about him, but I'm talking about 2 years ago when the Jags and Cowboys. I saw it then, and I saw that was I think that year was when he was really starting to come up, I think, and then it was like, okay, then he just kind of took off, like, damn. Okay, talk about step up. I mean, so, I think he kind of made Stephon Gilmore kind of expendable. You know what I mean? I think he kind of made him expendable a little bit, because it was like the rise of him. You got Diggs coming back. It's like, okay, you get yourself a young stud corner, which you probably will. Take your picking. You got a nice 3 there. So
yeah, man. I tell you, man. That's why I say, man, like when you think about those guys, but the thing is, with Stephon Gilmore, they still got to go out there and sign him. I think that he's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those type of situations towards the very, very end. One of those bargain shops. Here's the problem, bro, that I have with the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they like to bargain shop too much. But me and you know that you have to be aggressive. If you're going to go out there and go draft well, if they draft well now, right? But these drafted players are not going to be good to the point where they're going to make the biggest difference. You got to go out there and go pick up players in free agency. But with Stephon Gilmore, the Brandon Cooks from last year, it was fine. But at the same time, sometimes you got to go out there and go spend. If you're going to get cocky, then you're only going to be good enough to get to the division round in the playoffs, or it's going to be a first round exit. At this point now, bro, we are tired. Cowboys Nation, we are tired. So we're looking at everybody. Dak Prescott, bro, at this, because I'm glad you're on the show, because you know how long I've been fighting for Dak Prescott, bro. You already know, you know what I'm saying? And you've always kind of been a little off about him. You believed in him coming out of college, but, with Dak Prescott, I think that with his skill set, if you can be able to build around him, go get difference makers, the running backs, the wide receivers, these guys can go out there and go boogie. I don't care what nobody says, but scheme matters, and you can't have situations where you got Dan Quinn going out there and completely doing something different that he was doing in the first part of the season, bro. So it's exciting. We're all dedicated fans, bro, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Hey, shout out to everybody, man. I know, it was a random joke, man. We didn't have too many people in here, but hit that like button for me. You know what I'm saying? That replay value is real. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yes, sir. Like I said, man, it is important. I think Stephon Gilmore signed with the Panthers, if I'm not mistaken. I think he signed with Carolina. I think he's gone, man.
Not yet. I don't think so, bro. Hey, tell me that, bro. I don't think so.
I mean, we might have somebody look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure he signed with Carolina. I could be wrong, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Cowboys Nation gonna let you know right now, because I'm not sure about that, bro. Unless it's something that I don't know, but I don't think he signed anywhere right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Hey, shout out to my man Iceberg. He said, JC, I'm hearing wide receiver is the first round. People forget Jerry Jones will never pass up another wide receiver. Brian Thomas Jr. can be there. I mean, I feel you, dog. I feel you, bro. But I just don't know for sure. I don't know for sure, bro, about that wide receiver position. But I mean, I respect where you're coming from. That's why you guys y'all missed the first part of the show. I don't know if somebody else was live or something, but we were talking about a lot of these wide receivers. I already broke down the Brian Thomas film. I mean, we can bring it back up again. You know what I'm saying? Because my man just brought up Brian Thomas Jr. You know what I'm saying? So I bring it back up again. It is what it is. But if the tackle isn't there, bro, if the offensive lineman that you want is not there, then it can possibly happen. But my thing is, those sexy picks usually be the picks that look good in the regular season. And I'm going to stay true to this until they prove otherwise. It looks good in the regular season until we get into the important games. That's why I say that trenches matter. I know it's not the sexy pick. I know it's the solid pick. But as we get closer to the draft, we start thinking about those wide receivers. But Brian Thomas, bro, he is good, bro. He is definitely good. And one thing about Iceberg, he knows his wide receivers, man. But I gotta keep pushing. I gotta put the press kit on him. You know what I'm saying about the wide receiver. This is what they do in the war zone, in the war room, bro. Draft day. So it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. All right, let me see. Let me go to my man real quick. You said I'm late, but Dallas ain't doing anything. Come on, Chalk. Hey, shout out to you, Chalk Dog.
Oh, damn.
Hey, look, that's my bodyguard right there. That's my homie. He be coming on the show. He be coming on, man. Hey, he be like, JC, man, I'm tired of this. That's my dog, man. Yeah, man.
Okay.
But what's your man about, as far as the first round, picking a wide receiver and going out there, knowing that you could possibly need trenches and stuff. Do you feel as though that BPA, that's what you go by, bro, as far as the draft coming in, you know what I'm saying, with your Jaguars or any team in the NFL with BPA?
I think it depends on need as well. I mean, we always talk about BPA, but I think you got to match the value with the actual player. So, if the BPA and the two players you're measuring is so close in value, and then you have a need at another position, then it's like, okay, if these two guys are really, really similar, then you go with that BPA guy, but then you also have to factor in need. So it's tough, obviously. So it's like, you have to play that game of balance, like, okay, what's what? And then that's where I think you have to the work of the scouts and the personnel department, the coaching staff comes in, all that work, all that year-round stuff that they be doing all day, every day, and that's what they get paid the big bucks for. That's where it comes down to in the draft rooms, where it's pressure time, it's showtime. Like, we ain't got time to waste no more. So you have to measure that value and say, okay, are these two or three players close enough in value with everything, with character, with talent, with red flag potential, with work ethic, with everything? Does everything really match up? Is everything really close? Then you take the BPA over the need. I think that's what you do. With the Jaguars, we have massive holes at receiver and corner. We signed Ronald Darby in free agency. We signed Darnell Savage, the safety from Green Bay. He's gonna start out playing nickel for us, because we got a young safety by the name of Antonio Johnson, who's replacing Rayshawn Jenkins, who we let go in the offseason. So Savage is going to start out being the nickel, I think, but we still have a massive need at corner because Tyson Campbell's in a contract year. He kind of had a bad year last year. And Ronald Darby's, I think, kind of a stopgap guy, kind of like Stephon Gilmore was with y'all last year. So we got massive needs at corner, man. And there's plenty of corners. You got the Alabama corners. You got Cooper DeJean. You got Nate Higgins. You got Mitchell. You got all these corners, man. It's ridiculous. Receiver, same thing, man. You got Malik Neighbors. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. You got Rome Odunze. You got Brian Thomas. You got, and there's so many second and third round receivers that have a serious amount of value, man. So it's like, do you take the receiver then, or do you wait and maybe get lucky and get a Puka Nacua, or do you wait?
Okay, wait, because look. So you in your bag right now. You in your bag right now because me and you are top tier competitors when it comes down to football. Me and you.
Fact. You know that.
Puka Nacua was your guy. Okay, Tank Dell was mine.
Yep.
Will we find those players in this draft? Will we find? I think that Malachi Corley could possibly be that guy, but even though like third round, fourth round, I think that he can be one of those sneaky players. There are more players that I'm going to talk about in the next coming days about the wide receiver position that we can possibly find in the mid rounds. But I think that with this draft, bruh, like a lot of these wide receivers coming out as a passing league. So we got to keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Things like that in mind. But let me ask you, you know what I'm saying? So as far as, because let me go to my man Iceberg's comment. He said, I want offensive line, but but the one we need might be gone. That's the thing. So let's go back to here. Let's go back to the list. Let's go back to the little go back to the magic list, man. Let me see. Hold on, man. Because this
is always tough. That's always tough, man.
Best time of football right now. So I think that guys like Fuega is not going to be there, Iceberg. I literally do not think he's going to be there. Troy Fatanu, he could possibly be there. I do have his
stud. He's a stud.
I did talk about him last week, bro. A couple days ago, bro. This dude is incredible as far as his athleticism. Some people think this guy is going to be a guard, but when you think about these right ends, these left ends in the NFL, these guys are running 4.3s. They're running 4.4s. You want guys to be able to get out there in space and get aggressive. And he pretty much has everything that you need as far as that being on the offensive line. I'm not sure if teams are looking at him to play that guard position because he did play guard. So I just want to throw that out there. But the athleticism is there. And when you see what this guy can be able to do, I think he's Samoan. I think so. And usually,
I think so. Yeah.
When you see those Samoan guys, the guys, Kingsley Suamadia, it's a couple other Samoan guys that's coming out this year. You go get those guys. You know the guys that be like, Hey, listen, the better scouts, you got to figure things like that out, man, because those guys breathe tough. You know what I'm saying? And I think Leitu is another one of those guys that's like that as well. So you got to pay attention to little things like that, and just having that athleticism, man. You want guys like that as far as the trenches. So if he's there, Iceberg, then I will be hard pressed, bro. Like I will have to go that direction when it comes down to the offensive line. But if he isn't, and if you feel as though you can possibly either trade back, if Jackson Powers Johnson is gone, then Hey, by all means, let's look at those wide receivers and see what those guys are doing. You know what I'm saying? And see how it all plays out from there, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a beast. He kind of, I don't know why I get Tristan Wirfs vibes from him. I don't know why. Like I don't know why. I really like this kid. We were just talking a second ago about BPA and all that stuff. He's one of those guys. Even though Jags have kind of addressed offensive line, not really. He's one of those guys. Like, yo, if he's at 17, and there's other guys that we don't see that we would have taken, go get that guy, because like I said, we got some guys in contract years, and as far as I'm concerned, hey, listen, training camp you compete, mini camp you start to compete, training camp you put the pads on, you finally start getting rocking. Last time I checked, you put your best 5 out there. You put your best 5 out. You put your best 5 out. If he can play guard, put him at guard. Put him at tackle, put him at tackle.
That's how I feel right now. And then see that here's the thing with me. That's why I say you put your best 5 out there. There has been questions about the offensive line with our offensive line. Tyler Smith picking out at that left tackle position. If you feel as though he's going to be able to dominate at that guard position, then for guys like Otanu. We have a guy named Awesome Richards, bro. And I do like Awesome Richards, but how much can we trust him to play that left tackle position? You can't just hop out there and say that. You playing with your food if you think that this dude gonna come out there and just dog and stuff like that. So if you can get a guy that can play that left tackle position, you go pick that guy up. If not, possibly they might kick him at the left tackle position, but that's when you got to start talking about Brock Hoffman. You got to talk about that left guard position. Stephen Jones, who was talking about TJ Bass playing that center position. I love the versatility. Coming out of Oregon, this guy was a left tackle. He played guard. So if he can play center, that just shows that this guy has that high IQ. So I think it's going to be a battle when it comes down to that center position. I don't know if I got I've been showing a lot of film, dog. I got so
man,
much
you've been working, man. You don't take no breaks, man. You don't take no breaks. What's going on? You don't take no breaks, man. All gas, no brakes, man.
Wait till you guys see the premiere of what I'm about to do with the new football players that we coming in, the NFL drafted players. It's gonna be like a movie the way I'm about to create this joint, bro. It's about to be on another level, dog. Because that's just what it's all about when it comes down to Cowboys Nation, dog. That's why. Hey, look, man. I got a lot of love for you, Mo. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. You might gotta switch, man.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Like I said, man, this is the friendly zone. We cool in the draft time, but you already know when September comes, I can't stand you, man. You already know that. You already know fantasy September comes. What's up? You already know.
So, hey, look, man. Okay, so as far as I'm not sure if we talked about it. I don't know if we talked about it like earlier today. But as far as Trevor Lawrence, I definitely want to get your thoughts on Trevor because I did hear rumors about them signing him to an extension.
Yeah. They're talking about. They're talking right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. So you happy with your quarterback?
You see, I knew you was gonna do that. I think. Nah.
I'm gonna take you right down to the same rabbit hole as Cowboys Nation. We going through it right now.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good, man. I come in peace, man. You know what I'm saying? Nah. I like Trevor. I love his ability. Has he lived up to the next generation quarterback type that he came out? Absolutely not. But is he a bust? He's definitely not a bust. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he still has potential to be that guy that he was hyped up to be. He showed that 2 years ago at the end of 2022 when he had some really good games against some big time teams. And the way he came back in the Chargers game after he struggled early, his potential is big time. He's got some serious upside. The problem with Trevor is Trevor. The problem with him is he turns the ball over too much. He fumbles the ball too much. Sometimes he presses a little much. The offensive line hasn't exactly been kind to him, in fairness to Trevor. Offensive line got to get cleaned up. The boy's running for his life. Okay, I think he's in the right shoes with Doug Peterson. He is a quarterback guru. You know, that disaster from 3 years ago, Urban Meyer. I'm not even going to talk about that. I am going to talk about him. Oh, don't bring. Oh, Lord. So I'm just saying, Doug Peterson has done a hell of a job given what the circumstances was before. But to me, Trevor Lawrence has got to prove it. Trevor Lawrence, we have to pay him because, quarterback-driven league, quarterback market's the biggest market. We get that. So we're probably going to pay him because it's a smart thing to do for the team and, everything else. But what I'm saying is, I need to see, this is the year for me where I'm like, okay, are you that dude? Are you the guy that we were all talking about? I believe in him. I think he's a really good quarterback. He's the best quarterback we've had ever. But I still need to see, because last year he did not play well. I got to be real. He did not play well. He was pushing the ball. He was turning over the ball too much. So this is the year for me where I'm like, okay, what you going to do?
Hey, look, and it's so funny, right? It's so funny that you mentioned that because we feel the same way. I don't know how some people might switch it up and say that they just team Dak and stuff like that. But right now, just like I said in the beginning of this live stream, but I've been fighting for this guy for so long. I've been fighting for Dak Prescott for so long. I know that this guy is talented. You got to be able to build around him. But at the same time, when you get down to the most important games, when it matters most, what are you going to do? Are you going to step up or are you going to fold? Straight up. At this point now, because I'm not going to be one of those content creators, bro, because I'm real straightforward when it comes to things. And sometimes I be wanting to say stuff, bro. You know how I am, bro. I know. I'm a competitor. You already know me, bro. So it's hard. But at the same time, I see Dak Prescott and I believe in his talent. But at this point now, you got to go out there and prove it to us. You're playing on this 1-year deal. I think it was about $59 million. Same thing with your situation with, signing your quarterback. If Dak wants it, you got to go out there in the playoffs. I know it's a lot of press, but at this point now, we know that this team is good enough to get to the playoffs, make it look real good. You get the skilled position players, you get the wide receivers and putting up all those points. Yep. The offensive line, the defensive line, that's why I always say the trenches matter because those are the times when it's cold outside, when we got that playoff type of energy. You want to make sure that is solidified because that's how you can be able to open up the whole playbook, whether if it's the offense and the defense. The time is now for Dak Prescott, bro. The time is now, bro, and that's just the bottom line.
Well, we definitely agree with that. The thing is, Dak has already had his extension, and I think this is his second one. Now he's coming into a year. I think Jerry's playing it right. I think this is like, okay, you know what? No. We're not going to talk about no extension. No. Let him play it out. I think you should let him play it out and see. I agree with that.
Look, hey, let him play it out. At this point now, you know what I'm saying? Because just like I've said before, bro, like we ain't getting any younger, bro. I'm trying to see a championship, bro. Bro, I'm getting old, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to see a championship just as bad. I mean, I believed in Tony Romo, but Tony Romo, his body couldn't keep up. You know what I'm saying? He was always getting hurt. So just as much as I have love for Tony Romo, I have the same love for Dak Prescott. But at this point now, there's a lot of talent out here. I remember my man Choctaw. He even said it. He said there's quarterbacks that's coming out now that's not going to be as good as these guys in the NFL. So just go out there and win it. And do what you gotta do, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got the talent, man. So it's going to definitely be exciting to see how it all plays out, bro.
Facts, definitely facts, man. Definitely facts.
Right, let's see. Okay, so as far as the draft, okay, let's see. Let me go to my man Jay Bryan. He said you can't blame Dak when the defense rolls over and lets the team score 6 straight times. I know.
Damn.
Hey, look, that's fire. But I feel you, bro. But at one point, bro, I think it was like 28-0. It was like 28-0, bro. So where is the, you know what I'm saying? We got to balance that. You know what I'm saying? So is Dak putting up points at that time? Like 28-0 against the Green Bay Packers? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So at that time right now, that's when we need Dak. That's what I'm focusing in on, bro. Not the times where, okay, yeah, the defense not showing up, but what happens when in between the 28-0? You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be big. It's going to be big to see how that all play out. But yeah, okay. So as far as the draft, bro, like, is there anybody that you feel as though that you want to pick up, like that dream type of scenario? You know what I'm saying? That dream type of pick for you, bro. I know the Brian Thomas, but is there anybody else that you want to talk about before we get out of here as far as the draft?
I've heard from a couple birdies or two that if Malik Neighbors slips into the 12 to 13 range, and I feel good about who I heard this from, Jags gonna go up and go get him.
Hold on, where y'all picking at? Where y'all picking at?
We're at 17 right now. We're 17 since we choked last year at 8-3. So so we picking at 17. If Malik Neighbors gets to the 12-13 range, which kind of aligns because Trent Baalke, our GM, had a press conference, I think earlier today, and said that, hey, if we see someone that's in that 12 to 13 range, we might go get him. Like, yeah, he's talking about Malik Neighbors. So Malik Neighbors is the guy. If that kid gets into that out of the top 10, pick up the phone. Right. See what's it gonna cost? Like, what we gotta do? Let's talk a little bit. Like, yo, you want the 17th overall pick and like a third, and like I give you like a 4 next year, something like that. You pick up the phone. Pick up the phone, man. Go get that kid.
You want to run a quick mock real quick, man? You know what I'm saying? I think we got, before we get out of here, we might gotta run a mock, dog. You know what I'm saying? Because I got.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have to probably do that, dog. Because me, like, when you think about the player that I would really want, like, you think about the Troy Fatanos. We did talk about Troy Fatanos, but if somehow, some way, if Byron Murphy, bro, if Byron Murphy gets to the Dallas Cowboys, bro, you have to take him and don't look back, bro. Like, everything that I seen on all 22 at that defensive tackle position, I mean, he is a wrecking ball, and he's one of the guys that can be able to play at a low center of gravity. One of the stronger guys. He made Bruce Feldman's freak list, a guy going out there and making a difference on and off the field and being one of those top-notch leaders for Texas. That interior pass rush is everything when it comes down to that defensive line. It's hard for these quarterbacks to get away from something coming straight at you versus something coming from the corner. But if you have a guy that can be able to have that athleticism and just be a consistent player, like, this is what I want out of the defensive line. And when you think about Micah Parsons, how athletic he is, Mike Zimmer just doing things with him, Kendricks, everybody on that front seven, like, you take this guy and you don't look back. That's the only guy that I feel as though that if he's not on an offensive line, if it's not an offensive lineman, then you got to go, put this guy in consideration, man, because I think that this guy is a true difference maker. And I've seen all of his plays. I do pick good plays. I put bad plays, but he's one of the cleaner prospects that I've seen. And this guy really jumped off the tape seeing this guy on all 22, bro.
He's a guy that I like to call linebacker's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's a linebacker's best friend. He makes a linebacker's job so much easier, right? Because, filling gaps, getting around and, stuff in the run, because he's a guy that is a problem. That kid is a serious problem. You drafted a kid last year, and then you put him in the middle with him. You're solidifying your interior trenches, and that's what you need to do. Because you already got Parsons, who's obviously Parsons. He's obviously who he is, a problem. Then you got other guys that you're gonna bring in. You still got Lawrence there, so it's like, look, man, you bring this kid along, he's gonna make your Eric Kendrick's life job easier. The other backers you got in the squad, their job's gonna be so much easier. Not only can he stop the run, not only is he stout at the run, he can also pass rush and also chop and also swim. He's versatile as hell, and you can play him all over the line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it just makes it better for Mike Zimmer, the whole entire offense, bro. Like, when you can line a guy like that up, Osa Odigizua, I'm not taking anything away from him. Like, he's one of those guys that's really, really aggressive. He started off really, really good, then it slowed down for him. But I think that, being a younger player, just continue to keep bringing in those defensive tackles. that 3 technique position is everything because we all know that it's a passing league. A lot of these guys, I mean, these quarterbacks, they're starting off just like you said, bro. You got teams that starting off in 4-2-5. You know what I'm saying? They're running that pass league on the first play of the game. They're not running basic plays, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, with his ability, just being that wrecking ball, if he is there, I do like Jimmy Newton too. He's another one of those guys at the defensive tackle position.
I love him.
Yeah, coming out of
Illinois. The kid from Illinois?
Illinois, yeah.
Illinois. Yeah. Oh, I love him. Ooh, to be brutally honest with you, bro, like if we did not sign Eric Armstead, he would be very high on my list. But Eric Armstead filled a huge need. But if we didn't, ooh, oh yeah, he'd be high on my list. Mr. Murphy as well. Oh, absolutely. Oh yes.
Yeah. Shout out to my man Smoke One for you. He said, "Yeah, center is a lot of players that can fill that spot better than Tyler did. If you're a center, if your center is not tough and have a strong base, you in trouble." Yeah, bro. That's why I say, like, when you think about Zach Frazier, he's another one of those guys, 4-star wrestler. He was a consistent player, getting to the second level, not as athletic as a JPJ. JPJ is one of my favorite players at that center position. But when you think about a lot of those guys playing center, Graham Barton possibly, guard, center, we'll see how it all plays out with them. But my question is, how much do they really like Brock Hoffman? Smoke One. How much do they really, really like Brock Hoffman? If they like Brock Hoffman, then possibly they might go get a Graham Barton and kick him out at center. Kick him out at guard. Or, well, I don't know, because the left tackle with Tyler Smith, but we'll see how it all plays out, man. I don't know their thought process, but I do think that these guys are really, really talented as far as the offensive line, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. But, hey, yeah, you wanted to run the mock, man? I don't know. It might take some time, man. That's going to take a little bit of time, but I think we did cover up on everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we did, man. We did. We definitely did. You know, for me, just to do a quick summary real quick before I guess we keep going, it's like it's wide receiver, corner. If a guy like Jared Verse, the defensive end from Florida State.
Hey, Jared Verse, yeah.
Jared Verse. Or Latu from UCLA, who is a technician to me, absolute technician. He's got some injury history. I think it's Latu. I think that's his name. If I pushed his name, I'm sorry. But the defensive end, the edge from UCLA, he's a technician. Verse, that kid is a problem. Chop Robinson, he's raw. He's got to be more consistent. But his get off, he's a problem.
You know, Chop went to Montgomery Village. You know, he's from
really?
Another one like Jordan Addison and Trayvon Diggs. Another one from DMV, bro.
I didn't know he went. I didn't know he from the Village. I didn't know that.
You know that left tackle from Colorado with Deion Sanders, that number 1 left tackle coming out.
Yeah.
The Montgomery Village. Same, like they bringing dogs, bro. In Maryland,
we getting a little sneaky with the town over there in Moco, man. Village, man. Okay, I like to hear that. I know you like to hear that. That's where we from, man. Like that's our area, Moco. Okay.
Hey, shout out to my man Smoke One. He said Hoffman and Bask acted the heck up in that game. I was loving it, JC. Yeah, big time, bro. That's why I say, you know, just doing that film was fun, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because just spitting the truth and just showing what these guys are doing, zoomed in, slow motion, just so you guys can see the things that y'all don't usually see on all 22s. I definitely got to show y'all that, man. So I think that these guys, it's so much work that needs to be done when it comes down to this Dallas Cowboys. But Maurice, I appreciate you so much, man. This was definitely a good show. As far as the Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys, I know you got one more last thing to say. But with my Dallas Cowboys, man, we know that the trenches, but just going out there and picking the best player available, a guy that can go out there and make a difference, that can be a leader on and off the field. You got to lock in and focus, man, because at this point now, it is imperative to be able to get these guys in position. All of these 1-year contracts, everybody's going to be focused in and locked in and seeing what these guys are doing. It's going to be good. Can't wait, guys. It's going to be fireworks.
Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, you know what I'm saying? A lot of information, man. But yeah, man. Last thoughts on your Jags, man, before we get out of here, bro. This was good, bro. I get you on more too, man. This was definitely good.
Hey, no, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's always a pleasure. You know that, man. I really appreciate that, man. Definitely. You know that. And as far as my Jags go, last thing, not least, 8-3, missing the playoffs, never again. For the love of God, that's unacceptable. You know, especially for the year we had. We got the 30th year of our existence coming up this year. We're bringing back the throwback uniforms, which, thank you, Lord Jesus. You know, I hope they make it the primary, because those were. What that, man? Those was fire back in the day, boy. Those was fire. Make them the primary, please. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, 30-year anniversary. We're renovating our stadium. That's gonna be ready in a couple years. You know, we're re-signing all these guys. We had a good off season. You know, listen. Don't disappoint the fans on the 30th year of existence with some nonsense. Get it done. No more 8-3 and choking. Get a receiver. Get a compliment to Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk and, and company. Get a corner and get some edge help and address offensive line for Trevor Lawrence. Get those 4 areas done in the draft, and let's go and play like we're supposed to play.
Yeah, man. It's definitely gonna be so good, bro. Where you gonna watch the draft at, man? I'm gonna be tripping. Hey, I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna be drunk. You know what I'm saying?
I'm either gonna be at the crib, or I might go to a buddy of mine's house and watch it there. I'm not sure yet, man. I'm still debating. It's gonna really depend on after the first round, because if we mess up the first round pick, I just might put it on record so I.
Hey, look, man. Only way we end up messing up the first round is if we go out there and pick a safety. But at this point now, when you see the Dallas Cowboys, when you don't do nothing all throughout free agency, it's going to be hard for this team to mess it up. But you know what I'm saying? The Jerry Jones and those guys, they've been crazier things before. But I just think that, this draft that's coming up this year, whether if it's the offensive line, the defensive line, the wide receivers, you're going to get better somewhere, but I just don't think that it's going to come down to one player. You got to have 2, 3, 4 different players, especially, with these guys on 1-year deals. It seems like a lot of things is transitioning when it comes down to the Dallas Cowboys. But as far as the show, I probably will be on Friday. So you might as well tap in with me, man. You know what I'm saying? Come vibe, and then, I'll send a link, and then some of the fans that get on, and then they can tap in with us and stuff like that. Let us know your thoughts and all that good stuff, man. But definitely a good show. And y'all, man, I appreciate y'all so much, man. Cowboys for life.
Hey, respect, brother. Yeah, thanks for having me on again, bro.
All right, y'all. Yep.